What does a thing go on vacation?
Yeah. You're going to get away.
Are you ready to say that?
Just say when.
Action.
Why did you decide to make another version of a classic like the Howard Hawks, Christian Nyby, The Thing?
The original film, which was in 1951, was based on a short story called Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. And as a matter of fact, a lot of films have been based on that short story. It's a classic science fiction. It was basically a novelette, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Alien and a bunch of other movies have been based on it. But I felt that story had never really been done right, so I decided to go back and try to do it.
What's your opinion of that, of the earlier film?
Which earlier film?
The Thing.
Classic movie. It's a great film. It's a movie that influenced me as a kid, and when I was in film school I studied it because it was greatly influenced by Howard Hawks. He was the producer and some say the director of the film. And I really love it. It's a great movie.
What was it about the Joseph W. Campbell short story that you thought hadn't been really done in that earlier version?
Well, it's basically the situation. You've got 12 men in an Antarctic station who encounter this alien form of life that can imitate other life forms perfectly and begins to become them. And they can't tell who's who goes there. And basically it's down to, is my best friend a monster? And I felt that it really hadn't been pulled off like the short story did.
Inevitably, though, you must run into problems with fans who consider that film to be a sacred piece of work that should not be tampered with. What's your reaction to those people?
I really don't think that my version of The Thing is anything like the classic film, the first version. I agree that it is a classic of sorts. It was one of the first monster from outer space films that ever was. It was made just after the big flying saucer scare over Mount Rainier when that pilot saw the UFOs going by. And that accounted for a lot of its popularity. I wouldn't try to compete with that film. I wouldn't try to remake a Howard Hawks movie. It'd be stupid of me because it was so good. I think this is a new film. I think that the fans of the old film can come and see how we've done it differently.
You've gone on record as saying that the fans think they own these films, but they don't. It seemed to me like an awfully bitter remark. What prompted that?
Basically, I'm talking in the area of special effects. I think there's an insistence on a lot of fans that they understand exactly how you do a certain effect. They want to see it photographed. They want to know what the trick is, what the illusion is. To me, that completely spoils the magic. That totally takes away from watching a film. And I said that in reference to a couple of magazines who were determined to get in and take shots of us making The Thing. And I said, no, there's no way. Any movie is an illusion. Kramer versus Kramer is an illusion. They really weren't doing all that. It's all staged and set up. And when you're working with mechanical makeup effects, if you really got to look at what it was, it looks pretty silly. You know, it's only through the camera lens that stuff works. And I don't want somebody taking pictures of it and showing it in a magazine. That destroys the illusion.
Well, I asked the same question of Paul Schrader. If you wanted this version to be completely separate from the earlier film, why did you include a couple of allusions, a couple of seeming homages to the Howard Hawks film, such as the creature throwing himself through the window while he's in flames, and even using the same title?
If you're going to make a monster movie, it seems like the greatest title of all time is The Thing. Man coming through on fire, it's just a part of the action. It really was unconscious. I don't think there's really illusions to it.
That wasn't a conscious illusion?
Not really, no.
You know, you've already mentioned Howard Hawks, and I asked you this once before. Do you ever feel when you're making a film that you suffer from the anxiety of influence? That is, that you're so influenced by Hawks' work that you may be, in a sense, wrestling with his shadow?
I don't think so. I think my influence from him, my study of his work, was in the past. I don't really think about it too much anymore. Certainly, technically, he influenced me. I don't pretend to be able to do some of the things he did, especially with performance. I think it's one of his strongest contributions. overlapping dialogue, for instance. I can't do that stuff. I can really admire it. No, I don't feel that anymore.
So the thing was in no way an attempt to outdo the old master, to outdo your, to be the pupil who exceeds the master.
Oh Lord, no, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't dare try.
Ladies and gentlemen, the robot of the Forbidden Planet. Now, these are his eyes. These, his ears, tuned in all directions to receive the slightest sound. And this is his brain. Robbie, turn right. Turn left. Now back to the front. Robbie, tell me, can you speak?
Yes, Dr. Morbius.
What languages?
I am monitored, Dr. Morbius, to respond to 187 languages.
Well, I think English will be enough. Now, tell me, what are your duties here on this planet?
I clean your house. I drive your atomic car. I cook your meals.
Oh, cook my meals. Now, how do you manage that?
One introduces a sample of human food through this aperture. I have inside a small built-in chemical laboratory where I can analyze it. Later, I am able to reproduce identical molecules in any shape or quantity.
Very good. Now then, tell me, who built you?
You, Dr. Morbius,
Thank you.
and 50 MGM technicians for the picture Forbidden Planet.
Yes, Robbie, but when I want a commercial, I'll ask for it. Now go over there and shut yourself off.
Yes, Dr. Morbius.
But don't go away. We want to talk to you later on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our robot, a housewife's dream. He's been very good on the set, done everything we've asked him to do. But I sometimes wonder, when we've finished work on stage 27 and Robbie's here alone, when the technicians have all gone home and the machinery is shut off, is he really off? Or does this machine which we have built, this complicated metal being, does it really have a brain? I sometimes wonder.
Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet indeed. Ha 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 ha.